Hi, this is Moe Bandy. You're listening to the Nothing Shocking podcast. Stay tuned.
Want to know what's going on in the world of music? Then tune in to the Nothing Shocking podcast, a non-genre based, all ages friendly rock and roll program. Join us weekly for interviews with all your favorite rock stars from the mainstream to the underground. You can find us at nothingshocking.libsyn.com or anywhere you download podcasts.
We're putting the band back together.
The numbers all go to 11.
I'm talking about bands that rock. Led Zeppelin. What about Sabbath? AC/DC. Motorhead.
Does that mean it's louder? Isn't it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it?
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
I get up off the ground and raise my head. Days like this, think I should be dead. One for Satan, two for me. Let's cheat the devil, it's fun, don't you agree?
Welcome to the Nothing Shocking podcast. I'm your co-host, Jeff Untied, and with me in Dog Bowl Studio is
Coach Nez.
You can find the Nothing Shocking podcast on Libsyn or any podcatchers. Like our Facebook page or follow us on X at No Shock Pod.
You can also find the Nothing Shocking podcast on Rock Rage Radio every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Central Time. Our sponsor is Ragged Records, located in downtown Rock Island, Illinois, and downtown Davenport, Iowa. We'd like to thank the Hong Kong Sleepover for allowing us to use their music for our intro and bumper ending. Tonight's guest is
Moe Bandy.
Yeah, country legend. He's promoting the 45th anniversary of the hit single Just the Good Old Boys with Joe Stampley.
And he's still out there on tour, getting at it.
Still doing it,
If you get a chance, go see him.
Yeah. Hey, let's get to the interview.
All right, good night.
Good night. Moe, welcome to the Nothing Shocking podcast. I'd like to introduce you, my co-host, Jeff Untied.
Moe, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. I can't say nothing shocking, or should I say something shocking?
You can say whatever you want.
All right.
Very
All
good.
right.
Well, let's get right into this. This 2024, you are celebrating the 45th anniversary of your hit single, along with Joe Stampley, Just Good Old Boys. Take us back to 1979 when you and Joe were in the process creating the Good Old Boys in the studio.
Well, we were in Europe, me and Joe. We was doing a tour of Europe, and I didn't hardly know him. But anyway, we met. We went out to dinner, and Joe said, "Moe and Joe, that song like Waylon and Willie." And we thought, man, well, we ought to record someday. Well, his piano player was sitting there. His name is Ansley Fleetwood, and he come to us the next day and he said, "I wrote that song." We said, "What song?" He said, "That song that you can record." And we heard the song, and I said, "It needs a bridge to it." And so he went back and wrote the bridge, and we cut it, and we both were on the same label. And I had a session that I was having. We took all of it back, and the record company just went crazy over that song. And it was Good Old Boys. And it just opened up everything for us. So it was unbelievable. The Good Old Boy era, I guess you'd say. We toured from the East Coast all the way over to the West Coast. And that first tour, and we played everywhere. And so that song's been very special to us.
Fantastic.
Nice. Talk a little bit about 45 years of celebrating a song. Well, you guys got any big plans? Are you got any big plans for this year?
Well, we're doing a show next week in Stockdale, Texas. But we do shows every once in a while, and we just get together and do shows. But it's been that song has led to a couple albums. And we had a great time with that.
Very good. Well, Just Good Old Boys held the #1 spot on the country chart for 1 week, and was also on the charts for 11 back in 1979. What was it about that track that caused so much traction in the country music scene during that time frame?
Well, it was, think about it, as Joe and I had hit records on our own, and it was a chance for us to be different, to do a different type music. And I think that's what made it work, because I could go back to doing my record stuff, and then it would, then we could do the wild, crazy Moe and Joe stuff.
Very good.
Yeah, I'd like you to talk more about that wild and crazy, the Moe and Joe. Like for instance, you had an album in 1981, Hey Joe, Hey Moe. Had some pretty funny songs on there. Can you talk a little bit about how that dynamic worked?
Well, once we started recording and Good Old Boys was a hit, everybody was sending us songs, and we was getting them from everywhere. And of course, everybody that ever wrote a wild, crazy song sent it to us, And so we ended up, with several albums, just real wild, crazy, running around and causing trouble. And, but it worked out really good. It was just a theme that we were looking for,
Oh, so cool. Well, I guess maybe a fair question would be, can you compare and contrast working with Joe way back in 1979 and then throughout the years? How did your working relationship evolve over time?
Well, we're good buddies. We've been friends for many years. We have kind of a different personality, I guess you'd say. Not much, but I mean, we do, and we're just stayed friends all this time.
Very good.
Yeah, well, you kind of alluded to having some tour dates, talking about a show that's coming up with Joe, but I was also looking at some of your other dates that you have coming up. Got a pretty good run going from, I think started back in April up all the way through October. Can you talk a little bit about what fans can expect on this tour?
Well, we're doing all the songs. Thank God I got quite a few records that they still remember out there, and thank goodness. And so it keeps me going, and we keep doing the records. And if I'm not with Joe, I have a guy in my band that sings Joe's part. We do the Moe and Joe songs. And lately, my son, if I'm down in Texas, my son sings Joe's part.
Oh, nice.
So that's been fun.
Oh, very good. Well, take us back to the height of Moe and Joe back in the early 80s. What was the touring like for both of you? I guess maybe what was the record company doing for you as far as touring support goes? Were you on the road a lot? How did it all work out?
Well, the record company, we was on Columbia Records, the Moe and Joe stuff. Well, both of us was on Columbia, and they just went crazy. They supported us 100%. And when we toured, every good old boy and good old girl in the world came out. And, we had some wild crowds, which was different. We had great crowds before, but we didn't have them quite as rambunctious as that bunch,
Absolutely. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I was reading the Texas Country Music Awards came up with a Moe Bandy Icon Award. I think you might have been the first recipient. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. I was so honored at Texas Country Music Awards. They they give me the Icon Award, and then they named the award after me, and it's called the Moe Bandy Icon Award. Nice. And I'm so flattered for that. I appreciate it so much.
Well, speaking of having an award named after you, is this going to be an annual award that's handed down to recipient after recipient throughout the years?
Every year they're going to do that, and I'm going to present it to them, I think, this year. But, yeah, every year. And I'm just, that's a pretty good deal. I was so glad to win the award. But to have it named after me was extra, that was great.
Fantastic.
Oh, nice.
Let's talk a little bit about Moe Bandy, the solo artist, apart from Joe Stampley. Can you compare and contrast the way that you got into the studio and wrote and recorded songs of your own stuff opposed to that of with Joe?
I got my first short record in 1973, called I Just Started Hating Cheating Songs Today. And we recorded that song, and it did really well for us. Got me a record deal. And from that point on, I guess we cut every cheating song in the world that you could cut. But we did so many songs. And I got in a little groove there, and I had a guy named Whitey Schaefer who wrote a lot of my songs. And we kind of got in a little groove there where I had several number ones and quite a few top tens in a row. And so it was just a really good time to go in, and you had the songs, you had I guess the theme of everything was real traditional music. And I came in at a time when the country music was going a little pop, the strings and stuff, and I was so country they couldn't put strings around me at that time. But it kind of opened up a little slot for me there, and then we were doing really good. And Joe Stampley got in the same thing. He had some great songs. And so when we got together, it was just great, because it was, it boosted our careers, both of us.
As you speak of that, tell us a little bit about, as you were getting, you were just getting signed by your first record label, getting into the country music business. Talk about the evolution of the country music sound from the time that you got into it into, I guess, maybe the now.
Well, I got the record deal in 1970, 73, or early 74. And it was what a thrill. I dreamed about that all my life. And to go out, and I was in New York City, and I walked by a record store, and my album was in the front of the record store. And it just freaked me out, man. I couldn't believe it. And just things started happening, and when they did, it just started going crazy. And it was a great time. I really enjoyed that time.
Fantastic.
Can you talk about some of the iconic places that you've played? I know you played at Billy Bob's in Texas, and quite a few other places. But how is Billy Bob's going these days? Is that still going strong and as popular as it's ever been?
Oh yeah, Billy Bob's is doing great. The first time I played there was right when it opened. I mean, within days of when it opened, and I knew Billy Bob real well, and that was a great place. And then we played a lot of big dance halls around Oklahoma and Texas and all over, and it was just unbelievable time. And we played the Grand Ole Opry for the first time I went on the Opry. I looked over in the wings, and I saw Farron Young and Ernest Tubb and Roy Acuff, and all these people were watching me because I happened to be singing, very traditional country music. So I'll never forget that. And I got to tour with these people. Like I did some tours with Ernest Tubb, and I worked with Marty Robbins and all these great people, Farron Young. And I tell these young kids that I work with them, and they say, "Oh, wow." But that shows my age,
Well, very good. With the advancements in modern recording with new technology in music, can you talk a little bit about how you've had to adapt as an artist? Embracing this new technology of recording.
Yes, of course, digital recording is a record right nowadays is perfect. I mean, everything's perfect. It's every instrument is tuned perfect. The voice is tuned perfect. Everything. And back in the day when I was first started recording, you walked in with the whole band there, and you sang live with them, and you picked out the best sound and took it there. And I'm a big fan of anybody that's successful nowadays, some of the people that are having hits, but I think the digital took the heart out of a lot of it. We had songs back then that we would have a cut on it, and we'd say, man, that really had the groove. We felt it. And one of the pickers or somebody would say, I made a little mistake. We'd listen to it. We'd leave it in there. So some of the old records had little bitty boo-boos in them, but you had that heart in there, and you had that feel. And there was, when you got a feel of a record like that, you know, everybody felt it, the musicians, everybody. And they said, boy, that's the one right there. So we did a lot of that by just feel. But nowadays it's perfect. But I tell these kids, man, just get out there and get it, and do the best you can. I'm for them all the way.
Fantastic. Yeah. When you're not singing, songwriting, or out on tour, what's a hobby for Moe Bandy?
Well, I love to play golf. Haven't played a whole lot in the last years, but I still play golf. And I have a place on the lake over here in Missouri, and I'm actually out on a boat right now.
Nice. Talking
to you. And awesome. Yeah, I love to do that stuff on the lake and everything. But and I'm still touring some, not like I used to, but I'm still touring quite a bit.
Oh, very good. Well, back in January of 2023, you released your most recent album, Thank You, Lord. Can you tell our listeners a bit more about the creativity behind that album?
Well, Jimmy Capps produced about the last 4 of my albums. And the great Jimmy Capps, great guitar player, is on Larry Steiner, the Sheriff. Mm-hmm. And we were very close friends. And so our goal was we wanted to eventually record a gospel album. And unfortunately, we lost Jimmy during the COVID. And so he and myself and his wife went in and we recorded the gospel album. And, of course, we dedicated it to Jimmy. And that's how we come about that. And we're very proud of the Oak Ridge Boys sang with me, and the Isaac sang with me on there. Bill Anderson wrote a song just for the album. And it was just one of those deals where everything come together and everybody was my friend. They're my friends, you know.
Very good.
Well, yeah, and I was looking at, I think, one of your previous albums before that. You've worked with the Oak Ridge Boys before. Can you talk a little bit about working with them?
Oh, they're just great. They've been friends of mine for many years, and they were so good about that. If you had a song you felt like they could add to it, they'd come in there in a minute. And not only me, but a lot of people. And they're dear folks, and they're my dear friends.
Well, so cool. Mo, you've collaborated with some of the biggest names in country music. Do you have a certain artist that you say, that was the artist that I enjoyed collaborating with the most?
Yeah, I enjoyed singing with Becky Hobbs. She and I had several hit records. And a gal named Judy Bailey, and we had a song called Following the Feeling. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed singing with them. And then I had a song, one of my albums, Merle Haggard came in and sang with me. And that was a thrill, a big thrill. You know?
Absolutely.
And, yeah, they all, and then, of course, with Joe, it was a great project. Yeah, I've been blessed with a lot of good singers coming in with me.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, not only the good singers, but you've had top 5, top 10 hits, gold records. Mm-hmm. Looking back at your career, is there something that happened that you're just like, wow, I can't believe that happened to me?
Man, there's so many of those. I'd be here all day talking. You know, the Grand Ole Opry, of course, and all the awards I've won and everything. I've just been blessed. When I wanted to be a country singer, I didn't dream that I would do as well as I have, you know.
Oh, so cool. So, you know, as you look at the Moe Bandy body of work, do you have a certain album you say, hey, this is my best work? And then do you have on the flip side, do you have an album you could say, I wish I could get back into the recording studio and re-record that album?
Well, I mean, you go back and listen to a lot of them, and you wish you could have sang it better, of course. But most of them I'm happy with. Of course, one of my favorite albums was with Bandy the Rodeo Clown on it. It had my name in the title, and it was written by Whitey Schaefer and Lefty Frizzell. They wrote that just for me. And so that had to be one of my favorite albums. But I've always been involved with the sport of rodeo, and my brother went to national finals 7 times as a bull rider. So I did quite a few songs, and I played a lot of rodeos with my brother. He's asked about some of the shows that I look back at.
Yeah.
Played a show at the Houston Astrodome. They had my mother and dad there in the good seats, and my brother won the bull riding that night. So that's one of the highlights of my career.
Very good.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about, taking us way back. Your dad had a band, I think it was the Mission City Playboys, that you played with a little bit, but then kind of got out of music for a little bit and got into the rodeo. Yeah. Can you just talk about those early days and your influence in getting into music?
Well, I've sang since I was a little kid. My dad played guitar and sang. My mom played piano and sang. And I always wanted to be a singer. And my grandfather leased a ranch, had 1,280 acres, and it was tied up in a court thing, and he got real cheap. So we had this ranch. We raised cattle, and I was a kid. I was a cowboy. I wanted to be a singing cowboy like Gene Autry and Roy Rogers, And I rode horseback, and we got to riding calves at first, and then rode bulls and bareback broncs, and I just got banged up so bad, and my heart really was in music the whole time. So,
very good. Got one last question for you, and then we'll leave you alone for the evening. As we are halfway through 2024, what do you have in store for 2025, and I guess maybe the rest of 2024?
Well, 2024, we're booked up pretty good. We're going to Alaska in October, and just doing shows and staying busy. Yeah.
Oh, very good. Well, we're out of our allotted time for the evening. Is there anything that we left off tonight that you would like to plug or promote?
I think we got it covered. You check with mobandy.com on all my stuff, and I have an app. Not many people have an app. It's free. It's a free app
Nice.
Check it out. It's Moe Bandy app. Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, this is how things are going to work out. Once Jeff, the editing wizard over here, gets everything cleaned up, we'll send it to your PR person. Sound good?
Great. Fantastic.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mo.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be in touch in about 2.5 weeks.
Okay, great.
Take care.
Great. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
and says their last goodbyes. Move to the sunshine, fight the grip of nights. If they ever take from you, then you plug out both their eyes. They roll the dice. Take your chances.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.